Good evening. Today's tour is going to be the area along our driveway. This is the area that we've done the least with over the years, and indeed we weeded everything and took out all the stones and such during the pandemic when we were in lockdown, and have been slowly adding to it since then. You'll see here we do have an electric car, so that is where we hold the cord for the charger, but that is actually um, wired behind our air conditioning units. And starting down at this end of the driveway, we did have a Gerbera daisy here for the longest time in this corner next to the Suriname cherry trees that surround the front yard. And I want to say that we moved it, but to be quite honest, for all I know, it might come up again. And the reason I'm saying for all I know is because early in the pandemic, we planted a lot of geraniums and a few lantana, and this lantana has taken over this area. It's just been growing all over the place, and I did cut it back earlier this summer. So the geranium, I didn't even realize was still alive under there. Same with this geranium that you see right here that's really small. And this year I've slowly been adding coleus along the driveway because of the fact that they do well with both shade and sun. This penta's actually been here since 2020 and has grown very well. But on the side, you'll see I have put a veronica, and I wasn't entirely sure if it was going to take. That's been grown from seed, so I'm trying to protect it a wee bit with the penta has gotten rather large over the last couple of weeks, so who knows, as we get into the fall, it might do well. The geraniums, you'll see they've been there since 2020, so I do need to fertilize them, and I quite honestly haven't fertilized this side very well. There's another lantana here, and this one is more pastel colors. When the colors come out, they're in sort of like a lightish pink and a lightish yellow. There's a little bit right here that you can see that's coming out. And I've just added some, that is actually a snapdragon that's been grown from seed. Here, these milkweed have been here since 2020. And every year I think they're not going to do very well. My son planted them to try to attract monarch butterflies, and every year they strip them, and then they start coming back. So I do want to try to add some more. I didn't think about it this year, to be quite honest. And then I do have a pot here. This pot used to be, I think it was a Mother's Day pot full of chrysanthemums or something like that a couple of years ago. I just reused the pot. It's had everything from inch plant in it. This year we have this is the coleus from last year that I meant to cut back, and I probably will cut back as we get into the fall. Right now it's just not worth it, but you see that it is starting to sprout. I do have some sedum in here, and you can see here I have a portulaca that we've just put in there, so we'll see if that takes. But these are actually, this is a snapdragon that's been grown from seed, and this has been here for about a year and a half now. And right here we have lavender, English lavender, that was planted in the spring because I had an extra one, and strangely enough, it is actually taken off, and I'm quite excited about that. We did have a lot of lobelia in here, and of course during the summer it dies back. We'll see if it comes back in the fall. And then down here, I can't remember the name of this plant. I purchased it at a charity sale, and it was just one little plant, and put this in, I think I would have to say probably last November, and it's sprouted beautifully over the year, to the point where another geranium is in there from 2 years ago. And then we do have this area. I used to have, as you can see here, there's a grow bag that used to have tomato seedlings in there, and I've just taken them out and put them in the ground as time has gone on. I haven't done anything with it this year. And then in the corner we have a white Rose of Sharon hibiscus, and again another geranium from 2 years ago. This coleus is actually from a year ago, and that's why it's bushed out quite a bit. And then this year we've put more of a container garden in this area. Last year we added this grow bag over here. We usually put corn, container corn in it. This is actually our second lot of corn in here for this year. The first lot actually got blown down when we had a tropical storm earlier in June, and a few survived, and by the time it got really hot, they didn't survive any longer. They crisped up. So we have put in a few more seedlings, and you can see they've been coming up. This one back here has been, we have sweet potato vine in there that we grew from slips that we grew off of the sweet potato that we haven't been using. But over the time, we have added a few things in there. So there's some coleus in there. There's a chrysanthemum in there. This strawberry pot, we started that last year as well. So this year we started in February, March with 2 plants. Right now in this pot, I think we probably have about 5 or 6 with the babies that have grown from the runners. And then we have a couple of different slips from Rose of Sharon hibiscus. This one right here is a double white. Over here I think we have a single white, and then right here we have I think this one is a single purple. I absolutely love them, so I like to have them, and of course we give them as presents. We have a couple of trying to do some cherry tomatoes, so we have 2 in this pot. We have another one in the pot at the back. That was actually our potato pot this year. I have no idea if how the potatoes have done. They got blown by the storm as well. Every so often they send up some green. So if we get potatoes, great. If not, that's okay. It was a great experiment. And in the corner there's a lemon tree that's my son grew from seed, planted in 2020, and we just let it go. You know, who knows what's going to happen with it. And then lots and lots of coleus that we're propagating to be able to put into the ground for the fall. Here are some of the strawberry seedlings taken from the runners when we cleaned that up. Frangipani branch when we were making more room for the table. And then we have here some lavender that's growing, and again some more coleus. Down here we were trying to grow some veronica, but it looks like we have some lobelia, and then of course a red leaf hibiscus. This monkey puzzle right here is a baby of a plant that my husband purchased from his school fair when he was 5 years old. One of them, it was growing in his parents' garden, and as part of his wedding gift, his father took a piece that he had grown into a pot and brought it over here. We had it in the backyard for years growing by the fence, and it got knocked over during a hurricane. So there are about 3 or 4 of these in our yard that came from the plant that blew over in the backyard, which of course came from the original plant that he purchased at a school fair when he was 5. So this area has come together very nicely. I think it, helps to soften this area of the fence that then, looks into our backyard. Over on this side, it's very shady, hardly gets any sun. So in the corner, usually it's just overgrown grass. We've put some coleus in there. Hopefully it'll take up the area. There's also some Bermudiana in there for the spring. We have this monstera plant that honey and locust wild honey, I guess you can say. It's from my parents' yard, and that plant fruits frequently. So hopefully over time, when we find a place to put this plant, we can get some fruit from that as well. Again, another coleus pot that we use. The coleus in the back there was grown in this pot from branches and cuttings that were taken off of other coleus, and when it's ready to go, we just put it in there. I'm putting more coleus in this area because this is an area that hardly grows anything. Indeed, this is a Luna hibiscus, and it hardly gets any sun, so that's why it is so small and paltry. However, as you can see, the coleus grows beautifully. Here we have a pincushion flower. This it popped up last year and stayed small all through the winter and into the spring, and then it sprouted. So this one gives us the blue flowers, whereas in the backyard we have more of a variety. We have pink and red and cream color, but this is the first one, so it must be from my blue seed packet. And for all I know, I think I planted that last year in the spring, and we're finally getting flowers this summer. There's a white lantana next to that. I don't really like the smell of it, but I love the look of the flowers. Over here, another area that gets an awful lot of shade, but we do manage to get snapdragons when we put them in there. You see I have a coleus that we've been growing from seed, so hopefully that will come up. And then we even have some hollyhock grown from seed, and a few other plants in the area next to a purple lantana that we actually, my son actually cut a few pieces when we went to the pipe band doing a parade near the hospital, and he wanted to take a couple of cuttings, and it's come along really nicely around our agapanthus rose. So it is actually a beautiful combination when you have the pink roses and the the purple flowers underneath. This right here, Gomphrena, again from seed. We had 3 seedlings that out of 6, we had 3 seedlings put in the garden, and 1 didn't get eaten by snails and ants. So, and it's beautiful. It just has such gorgeous flowers and such. Look at that pattern. Another hollyhock in this area. We have this is a white Rose of Sharon hibiscus that I'd like to grow into the area. Chrysanthemum in the back there. Another snapdragon. Portulaca, that is from last year, and it grew all the way down the garden, covering everything, and we cut it back, and it's now coming back in late summer. And then this rosemary's been here since March of 2020, and we use it for lamb and everything all the time. But in the midst of it, we do have a coleus, and we also have a gaura, which sends up those beautiful flowers. Again, another, you can see this geranium was planted at the same time as those on the other side, but this side gets full sun during the day, and it's so much bigger. Again, with the lantana on this side, you can see it's growing all in the fence, and these are both from 2020 as well. And indeed, this one right here, when I get to it, and the orange, the yellow on the other side, are both from cuttings. They were just literally sticks stuck into the ground. We've been doing a lot of zinnias and sunflowers in this area. We do have a few black-eyed Susan and echinacea that are planted but haven't actually done anything yet. We do have a black-eyed Susan vine that provides a lot of white flowers, but again, this area we just see what grows, and many of the things over winter and such. In this area we do have a pawpaw tree, a papaya tree, some will call it, and it was in a pot all last year. We decided to put it into the ground this year, and it seems to be much happier. I do hope that it's going to grow up. And then we have another pot area here, and that's primarily because this area doesn't get a lot of sun. It has a lot of ants because it is the garbage area. And I found that putting pots in the area, we don't store anything over here. We did a limited amount of pots last year, and it looked nice, so we've gone a little bit further this year. So we are using it to protect the area with the pawpaw tree, to make sure that it was shaded and the soil was protected. So in the meantime, we have a pot with flowers. We have a few pots with seedlings, more Rose of Sharon hibiscus, We have some vinca there. There's actually a navel orange that we're trying to get established behind there, but again, keeping it shaded. This is actually I think this is a guava. And then we do have a Luna hibiscus that looks like it's about to open its flower, and it'll most likely be pink. This is an apple again, grown from a seed that my son had. And then we have a banana over here. These were magnolia peas that I do need to pull out and replace in the pot. And then this is a chandelier hibiscus. I believe it's a Chinese hibiscus. And then right here is another hydrangea that I did receive for my birthday. I've just cut the dead flowers off, and it's already starting to sprout new growth. So I'm very happy about that. And then we have a couple of pots. This is actually one of the first pots that I bought when I started working, 20 years ago when I moved back to the island. And we do have, again, more snapdragon that was grown from seed. These ones have a little bit more of a problem because it's in a pot, and this is a full sun area. So during the day they wilt. In the evening I water them, and in the morning they're sprouted again. But as you can see, there's so many different stems, and I do need to cut them back a bit so that they flush out again in the fall. But they have a beautiful peachy color flower. This is from last year. My kids like to do fairy gardens. These actually have the houses and such and terraced planting areas, but this one's been taken over by portulaca, and aren't they absolutely gorgeous? Look at that. And then over on this side we have a mini peach that I've had for years, and didn't really know what to do with it because I wasn't really into gardening at the time. But it's still in a pot. It still sprouts every year, so we might move it out next year. Again, another coleus and another snapdragon. The difference with this one is that this was purchased from a plant nursery, and as you can see, we put them in both at the same time. But the one over there was grown with from seed, and this one was a single stalk. And I'm just starting to get into what does it take to get things to grow more prolifically. This dianthus is actually from last year as well, so we just keep it going. And then this is my other son's pot. He actually stuck a stick of the purple lantana, and as you can see, it's like growing like a tree in here. And then we have a few other items, including the portulaca and the I can't remember what this is something Katie. So that is actually the driveway, and as you can see, it is coming along nicely. And if you can imagine, this was just full of weeds for the longest time, and now it's actually leads you to the oasis that is in the backyard. So let me leave you there. And yes, you still have to look at the lawnmower because we haven't put it back down in the basement. But yes, it leads into the backyard, and there are the chickens enjoying the air from the air conditioner. Have a wonderful night, and we will see you later. Goodbye.